Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Joy News Today, live from our studio here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up in this bulletin, police prosecutors on Wednesday failed to present the accused persons in the case of the alleged theft of over $1 million belonging to the former sanitation minister, Cecilia Abena Dapaah. Also, a group of environmentally conscious Ghanaians are picketing the Minerals Commission to demand the repeal of LI 2462 that permitted the commission to give out licenses to companies to mine in forest reserves. We've also got business news in this bulletin, as well as showbiz and news from around the world. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Do stay with us for details. Now, police prosecutors on Wednesday failed to present the accused persons in the case of the alleged theft of $1 million belonging to the former sanitation minister, Cecilia Abena Dapaah. The prosecutors indicated that the policeman that was supposed to present the two accused had traveled and couldn't produce them in court. They also indicated that the AG has now fully taken over the case and will assume prosecution of the case. Richard Kojonyako was in court for us and joins us with details. Richard, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. What more can you tell us on this matter? Richard, I want to find out from you what more you can tell us on this case, why the police couldn't produce the two accused persons in court.
And so, Brace, the police prosecutors were in court by the two accused 18-year-old patients, Buche, and 30-year-old Sarah Jane were not in court. The police prosecutor, DSP Emmanuel Nyamiche, explained to the court that they couldn't produce the two accused because the policemen that were supposed to do so had traveled to Tamale in pursuit of another case. They also told the court that they had apprehended two more persons in connection with the case and charged them. And so all the four will be put before court in the next adjourned date, that is the 8th of August. So the prosecutor also announced to the court that the Attorney General had taken over the case and will be prosecuting the case itself.
I understand the lawyers for the accused persons are unhappy with the development. Tell us more.
In speaking with one of them, a lawyer for one of the accused, Augustine James, indicated that the police are essentially trampling on the personal liberties of the accused, contrary to the 1992 Constitution. He made a point that the police of the accused have not been taken yet, but the accused have an entirely different story to tell because his clients have not stolen anything. They have stolen absolutely nothing. And so the last time they were in court, one of them was granted bail, but the police couldn't grant the bail because they said they were not in a position to do anything like that. So listen to the lawyer.
Every offense is bailable. However, it depends on the discretion of the judge, and the judge has exercised her discretion not to grant the bail today. So there's nothing we can do. We have to wait for the 2nd August and come back to court. The last adjourned date, A2 was granted bail in the sum of 1 million Ghana cedis, two sureties, to produce to produce their Ghana cards. In fact, normally when bail is granted at the court, the practice directive is that it is the registrar of the court who interprets the bail condition. The only role of the police is to look at the house or the abode of the sureties. But this one, when he went to the police station, the special intelligence unit, they themselves have taken it upon themselves to investigate and interpreting the court order, which to me is wrong and just obstructing justice delivery system, because police are not supposed to interpret the court orders. It is the duty of the registrar of the court. So it was incumbent upon the CID in this matter to bring the accused person to the registrar, for the registrar to pick the docket that the judge entered the bill and interprets and see if their sureties qualified to stand as what sureties for them. But they took it upon themselves. And you know, our assistant police were saying all sort of funny things. I can't mention them here. No, actually, nobody asked for money, but funny things.
Back to the AG taking over the case, what is your reaction?
I have no idea of that, except hearing from air. The prosecutor informed the court that AG is preparing to take over the matter. And in my personal opinion, I feel if the AG is desirous and respects the judicial processes, they should have come to court today to tell the court that we want to take up the matter. However, certain so are not in place. Therefore, we need 1 or 2 weeks to be able to take up the matter. You don't sit in your office and you instruct a police prosecutor to tell the court that you want to take. No, some of this, we see it as some of these gimmicks to deny people of the justice that they need. You know, this matter, there are so many strengths here and there, and we know it is one of those tactics employed to keep the people in cells. Please, I tell you, my client.
Richard Kunyako is still with me. Richard, so when are we likely to be in court again on this particular matter?
A visit that the AG will take over the case and the number of accused persons will move from 2 to 4. In fact, I tell you that one of the accused persons is a lactating mother, and as you heard the lawyer saying that, so it becomes some kind of a clumsy situation where the mother had to, be in the police custody and be breastfeeding their child as well.
Grateful to you. So that's our man on the ground today, Richard Kujoyako. To other stories now. And a group of environmentally conscious Ghanaians are today picketing the Minerals Commission to demand the repeal of LI 2462 that permits the commission to give out licenses to companies to mine in forest reserves. The protesters, led by Daryl Bosu of Arocha, Ghana, and Awula Sewa of the Eco-Conscious Citizens, have already picketed Parliament to demand same. Daryl Bosu of Arocha, Ghana joins us from the commission with more on this. Daryl, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Why are you demanding a repeal of the law?
Good afternoon, Kojo, and thank you for having me. The reason why we are here today, as we were in Parliament yesterday, is to ask for the repeal of LI 2462 because this law, which was passed to somehow regulate mining and forest reserves, is actually retrogressive. It gives unfettered access to all our forest reserves. And we are mindful of the fact that even before this LI was passed, there was a guideline that provided some clear limitations to which areas can be mined, which areas cannot be mined, what procedures and processes one needed to go through before you mine a forest reserve and all of that. All of these limitations have been lifted, and with the assent of the president, all forest reserves in this country can be accessed for mining if the government chooses to do so. And that's why we think that it is retrogressive. It is not in line with existing commitment to securing our forest reserves and sustainable management of our forest reserves. Also, is inimical to our sustainable development goals because forest reserves protect biodiversity, they protect our water bodies, and if all our water bodies and forest reserves are going to be allowed to be mined, then we believe we are going to lose very critical natural goods that we need for water services and for other important needs as a society. So we believe that this LI is retrogressive and needs to be revoked as soon as possible.
But is it about the law or about the implementation, which we need to make sure that the right things are done?
Kojo, you know, for Ghana, we have so many laws, and we don't even come close to ensuring compliance with a lot of them, particularly when it comes to forest management. At the moment, there's everything wrong with this law in the first place, and much more to talk about the compliance and enforcement. So the law itself is bad law, and we believe that it must be repealed first. And what is even sad about this situation is that this law was passed without broad consultation with CSOs. The state agencies themselves, including the Minerals Commission, sat in their boardrooms, discussed this issue, and push it to Parliament without due consideration of the opinions and input from CSOs. And this is the main reason why this law needs to be revoked.
So you picketed Parliament Tuesday, and today you are the Minerals Commission. What has been the response so far?
Well, this is part of several actions we have outlined. We started by invoking the RTI to the various agencies, asking them to know about what processes they went through to get this LI passed. Today, we are going to submit petitions to Parliament, but we know they are going on recess either tomorrow. So we want to wait when they come back, we present our petition. But we are also going to take some other legal steps because we believe that the whole lawmaking process was flawed and that needs to be addressed as well. So this is just one of it. Today, we are Minerals Commission, will be at the EPA shortly, and then the Forestry Commission. We want them to know that they did wrong by the people of Ghana by passing this law.
All right, Daryl, I'm grateful to you for joining us here, and all the best to you. So Daryl Bosu is with Arocha, Ghana. To other stories now, and a rather sad one. 4 people have been confirmed dead, and several others injured after a commercial bus and a trailer collided head-on at Nkenkensu on the Kumasi-Techiman Highway. The accident occurred in the early hours of Wednesday, August 2, 2023. According to eyewitnesses, the bus carrying passengers from Kumasi to the northern region made a wrongful overtaking and crashed into the oncoming trailer, and 4 people allegedly died instantly. Several other people were injured and are receiving treatment at the Nkenkensu Government Hospital. Now, some people have been sharing with us what they saw about this accident.
Actually, around 6:20, the driver overtook the car, lost control, came back to his lane, and collided with this clear crash. Once he has overtaken the other car, instead of going back to his lane, he could not do that because he was in top speed. And the other trailer was so close in the sense that there's no way they can swap each other, and they collided with each other. That is so. I was sitting in the car close to the driver. That happened.
Were you in the bus or
I was in the VIP bus.
The VIP bus?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So how many victims so far?
Actually, I cannot tell because once the accident happened, I left to the hospital for treatment, for stitching and other dressing. So I cannot tell how many, but people are injured. I can't confirm to you who is dead. Unless it is coming from the ambulance team and the medical team. Once he overtakes the other car, he lost control going back to his lane.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
So that's someone who witnessed this accident and is a victim of it. We've been joined by our correspondent, Eric Obeng, via Zoom. Now, Eric, I'm grateful to you. What more have we gathered on this accident?
Thank you for having me. The incident happened this morning around 6:30 at Akumadai road, that is in Kinkasu, between Kinkasu and Daso. In fact, we are having a very bad road over there. The amount of potholes on the road is very serious. That we use the opportunity to invite opinion leaders to come to our aid. As it was reported by myself, the victim I spoke with, in fact, the amount of speed that the bus driver was driving with cannot be measured. He overtook a car on the road. Very unfortunately, after taking the car, he couldn't come back to his lane. And then that was a collision with a trailer from Burkina Faso. That is registered number 2315F103. From reports and the people that were gathered, they said the car is alleged to be coming from Burkina Faso heading to Tema.
Okay.
So the bus, after overtaking a car, couldn't come back to his lane and then collided with the trailer. Okay. Which resulted a fatal damage of the trailer. In fact, people came around to help that were able to take off the driver of the trailer, who died at the spot. And according to
the driver of the trailer died on the spot.
Yes, please. He died. He died on the spot. In fact, we tried our maximum best to be able to get him out of the accidented car. That is very pathetic. I spoke with the doctor at the Nkinkasu Government Hospital where the victims were taken to. He said 5 people have been transferred due to the severity of their cases. Some are going to Confanochi Teaching Hospital. Others has also been referred to Wenchi Methodist for treatment as a result of multiple fracture and burns. He confirmed 2 victims dead as at the time I spoke with the doctor at Nkinkasu Hospital.
All right. And how about the injured? How are they responding to treatment?
The doctor confirmed that they are doing their possible best, anything that they could do medically to assist them. And like I said, aside those that are referred, the others are responding to treatment.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you for joining us. That's our man there. Now, let's take you to other stories now. And you know that there's a strike action involving the physician assistant who are demanding that the right things are done to ensure that they are also given the right recognition. Now, they insist that changes should be made to the Health Professionals Bodies Act 857 to grant them the freedom to operate independently. Love FM Sana Bwachi Dankwa Yadom has been visiting the Kenya's hospital to assess the impact on healthcare delivery by this, protest by these physicians.
In fact, say omumbaha no more. The ana eba ni say yes, catch say omunko nearby hospital. Ada say menshi ana say konfanochi. Yana ha omupa. Ubi oha wa oni say your rural areas ni me fancy be a sub districts near edi. Lorry fair crowd de beko hospital hon mono. Ya refer no nya bi. Nti ana ha adwen. Last year we say community ni mu. Me namwa ba ku shia mi ohun mi. Wose ne maami a ya refer no. Nyame nko anka uwo kwan so. Nti say government to share na utimi ehu o masem na o mo ka no anase Ghana Health Services utimi bem but since then yenti o mu bia ama affect adwuma eye na amanfo community no so no health.
Okay, what he is saying is that a patient that they referred last week nearly lost his life or her life as a result of the industrial action, but they have nothing to do because they cannot do the work of the physician assistants for as long as they are not coming to work. He's pleading with government to do something about this. Nurses
Me pacho nurses ne de omo no adwuma ne say physician assistants eni ho a omu ni adwuma bia oye. Ena yehwe organogram na nso ewo Ghana Health Service na physician assistants in health centers ne nyina omo na ye overall head nti ono anya adwuma ye ne aye wona ase ne nyina na adwuma ne nyina eye kwa nti ebe adwuma no ane se tete ho saa obi aba ne aka che ne se onko ebe aba ne aka che ne se onka ha have delivery no nti government in tries will beat my bibi afa ho no ahia wo mo se be ya wo mo betimi hu se wo mo demand so nkonye enye sika asem and our government what make say be a minisika me di betua omuka but we more fight ama community in the whole world because said doctors ne pese omuka omu segu omubo na omu ntimi mo omu nya adwuma gis omu ne supervise ne de emmoa Ghana Health Service delivery no nti omu hwe nkama patients nso nya ahoɔden a ombetimi de atase ne nipa no why health insurance oba beje ne nkwa na obi no ye anase obi self interest nti
Okay, so he is saying that the nurses and others under the organogram of the Ghana Health Service have nothing to do when they come to work because the physician assistants who are to supervise these healthcare centers are on strike. He's saying that government should listen to the plea of these physician assistants and aid them with whatever they need so that they can also come back to work.
Now, we've also been speaking to some stakeholders on this particular matter. Let's hear first from the Ashanti Regional President of the Physicians Assistants Association of Ghana.
What we want is for the Medical and Dental Council to do a holistic regulation and not to pick and choose. For now, we feel that they are picking on us. Now, if the Medical and Dental Council would regulate us and would want medical officers, supervisors directly, something that we're doing already. We are saying that it's going to hinder us in delivering care because if I have to prescribe, if I have to manage a case, and then I'll have to place a call to a doctor somewhere, he will tell me, do this, do ABC, don't do that. What happens if the person is in theater or engaged in something else? There are places where the network is not that good. And does it mean they would have to come to health center to sit back in the compulsory rooms? It doesn't allude to the benefit of our clientele. They are not doing things properly to help the rural folks that we see.
So, I mean, you have embarked on this action. Did you try other means of getting the Medical and Dental Council to listen to your concerns and demands? I'm asking this because I just spoke to the Secretary of the National Labour Commission, and he was talking about how strikes have become the norm when they're actually supposed to be the last resort. What are the processes you went through with the Medical and Dental Council before making a decision to embark on the strike?
The Medical and Dental Council on different occasions, we've been in talks with them.
When you say you've been in talks with them, how have these talks been done? Is it through formal correspondence or you sat in meetings?
Formal correspondence, and then we've had opportunity to engage even the current registrar at one of our annual general conferences, and it didn't end well. I would say that all these engagements have not yielded any good results. They do what they want to do because they feel that the physician assistant is being given too much to do. So we have to be extreme.
Now, the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Ampofo, has been speaking on this development. He spoke on the AM show earlier.
They have their position they are presenting. The authorities will also have their position, I'm sure. We as mediators are going to make sure that they arrive at a settlement through negotiation. It's one of give and take. But if the parties take entrenched positions, then the matter may not be solved. And since they are, what do we call it, essential service providers, then we may have, in the worst scenario, resort to a compulsory arbitration.
Right. Mr. Samoa, the physician assistants didn't just embark on the strike. I remember there were threats before they carried out the real deal. It's been about a week. From the point of threats to real execution, did the National Labour Commission at any time try to intervene to prevent us from getting to this point?
Yes. When we got notice of their strike and their reasons for which they wanted to embark on an industrial action to ban their demand, we accordingly wrote to their employers that this is what we have at hand. What are they doing to prevent the happening of the industrial action? And of course, they will know that some steps have been taken, some meetings have gone on, except that they have been unable to settle. That is why it's gone this bad. And when it gets to this stage, then the commission will have to seize it, take over, and settle it. And that is what we are beginning from today.
All right, now to other stories now. And the minority in Parliament is challenging claims by President Akufo-Addo that the abandoned Saglemi affordable housing scheme will be too costly to complete after he cut sword for the construction of a new affordable housing project. The group says the president's claims are untrue. Minority MP on the Works and Housing Committee, Andrew Dari Chiwete, believes the Saglemi project has been abandoned due to political reasons.
The project that we have done, you visited that site. You saw the level that we got to. this government allowed their party boys to go in and pick the doors, they picked the glasses, they picked everything. Sink, they removed the sink of the building. All these things are what is going to increase the cost of the project. That project, if well done, should serve Ghanaians. That is why he's the president. He should be able to find resources to complete that project. He should not go about saying that it will be expensive. So we should abandon it. Is that the idea? If it will be costly to complete the project, should we leave it to rot? The level that we got to, as a president, we have used taxpayers' money to build houses up to the level of just furnishing. Then you tell me it will be expensive to complete it, so we drop it and go and start something afresh. Well, I thank God President Mama came clear and told Ghanaians that as for him, if he comes to power, he will continue with uncompleted projects and complete them. And so for us, I know this project that they have cut short with, even if they go ahead to do it, they can't complete it. I'm assuring Ghanaians that if we come back to power, NDC comes up to power with President Mama as our president, we will complete that project for the people of Ghana to use, and we will complete the settlement project again. And that is why we have warned that any investor, any private investor that will show interest in buying the settlement housing project, the person should think twice, because that project is not for sale. We must complete it with government money.
Former Energy Minister Boakye Agyarko is hoping he will be among the top 5 candidates who will emerge from the 10 persons seeking to lead the governing NPP as flag bearer. The Super Delegates Conference of the NPP is expected to prune the number of contestants to 5 as the contest gets tough. Mr. Agyarko says his message is to return power to the grassroots of the party, and he is the best to hand up NPP victory in 2024. Kwekwa Asante of our political desk has the rest of the story.
With barely 3 weeks to go, Boakye Agyarko is ramping up his message to delegates as he hopes to be part of the 5 of 10 candidates the super delegates of the NPP will endorse to contest the party's flag bearership in November. The former energy minister believes the current economic challenge could pose a threat to the party's chances in 2024.
I admit, but all difficult times require new leadership and new thinking. Yes, the MPP, we've done very well, but I can tell you we can do better, and we must do better. We cannot rest on our oars and pat ourselves on the back for what we did yesterday. The people of Ghana will accept us for what we commit to do tomorrow for their well-being.
Boakye Agyarko has a message to his contenders who believe they can win the 2024 election simply because of their so-called special qualities.
Our winning 2024 is not going to be on the back of somebody's magic. It is not going to be one person. It is going to be people like you who are going to go down to the grassroots, polling stations to work for our victory. That is why I count you more important. No one person is going to win victory for us in 2024. It is going to be you. Therefore, we have to energize you. We have to make you ready. You have to make you happy to fight for this party for 2024.
According to him, whilst breaking the 8 is a laudable goal, it appears short-sighted.
Let's return to Parliament. And former Power Minister Kwabena Donkor says public companies like the Electricity Company of Ghana must not be subject to the strict public procurement laws of the country. His comment follows the Auditor General citing ECG for over $145 million worth of procurement breaches between 2016 and 2021. By speaking to Joy News, the Pro-East MP argued that by the operation of the Companies Act, ECG and other such public companies are not subject to public procurement laws. Dr. Kwabena Donkor insists it is also illegal that the Auditor General continues to audit those companies like any other public institution. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins me on the phone. Kweku, so what more explanation has he been given to the stance that he has taken?
So, Brace, according to the former Power Minister, if the public sets up a company in the form of a company like the Electricity Company of Ghana, then it is not a corporation, and as such must not necessarily be subject to the strict laws of the Public Procurement Authority. In fact, if you look at Auditor General's report over the years, it continues to cite ECG and other said public companies for infraction of the public procurement law. According to Comrade Onko, he actually backs his position by a certain question he had filed in Parliament, to which the Attorney General himself, Godfrey Dami, had come to Parliament to answer, and backs that position that the companies like ECG are not strictly subject to the public procurement laws of the country. He says that what will happen is that the boards of these companies will set up a procurement guideline. It will be approved by the sector minister, and that will go into effect just like all other private commercial entities run. It is his view that it is not appropriate that companies like ECG are allowed, or are not allowed, I beg your pardon, to operate in that way because it limits their viability. He also makes the point that the Auditor General himself cannot audit public companies like the Electricity Company of Ghana. He says that the continuous auditing of the public or public companies like ECG by the Auditor General is illegal and is contrary to law.
Okay.
He's already signaling that he will take certain steps within the powers that is available to him in Parliament and outside of it to ensure that the laws of the country are complied with.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you, Kweku Asante, for that. Now, the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, says it will take punitive sanctions against candidates found to have been registered illegally for the upcoming basic education certificate examinations. At a news conference to announce its readiness for the BCE, WAEC said it has already discovered several of such unlawful registrations and have started investigating.
The Council's attention has been drawn to some parents moving their wards in Basic Stage 6, GHS 1, 2, and 3 in private schools to public schools to register for the examination. This is against both the GES and WAEC regulations. The Council is presently investigating a number of such cases, and the registration of such candidates would be annulled. Parents are urged not to traumatize their wards by such actions.
You're still watching Joy News today. We'll take a quick break. We will return with business. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The president of the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply, Samuel Annan, has indicated that the procurement industry is playing a critical role in helping government realize its industrialization agenda. According to him, the industry is contributing significantly to the realization of government's socio-economic development agenda. He was speaking at an MOU signing ceremony between the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply and the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration.
The Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply and the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration have signed a memorandum of understanding to bridge the gap between academia and industry. The MOU is also aimed at ensuring professionalism in the practice of the profession. In an interview with Joy Business, President of the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply, Simon Annan, reiterated commitment towards helping the country realize its industrialization agenda.
And procurement supply chain is what will move Ghana from where we are to the next level. And if I say that, what it means is that the government procurement that we're doing, it is what we're going to use to promote the industrialization, promote the SMEs, and ensure that there's value for money. And I have maintained that Ghana's socio-economic development agenda cannot be achieved without appreciation of the role of procurement in our national discourse. And that's what we have to all be thinking about and say, how do we use procurement to build Mother Ghana that we all deserve?
Rector of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration said this partnership was critical in bridging the academia and industry gap.
We recognize the value of industry experience for our students. And for GIMPA, that is really what we do. We've tried to find a good balance between theory and practice. So we've had industry come into our classrooms. We go to our industry partners through what we call a practitioners forum. So the practitioners forum, we usually have partners coming from industry and from other walks of life outside of academia. Partnerships like this will concretize that arrangement, and then it's going to help our students appreciate the world of work, and therefore support the development of students who are ready for industry, so they will leave the program ready to work.
The Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply also reiterated its commitment towards ensuring high standards in the practice of the profession.
Now, government has inaugurated a medium-term revenue strategy steering committee to ensure proper appropriation and preservation of the national purse. The setup of the committee follows the media budget review in a bid to deliver a revenue strategy that focuses on incentives towards sectors crucial for sustainable and inclusive growth. There's more in this report.
During the mid-year budget reading, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta mentioned that the mutual prosperity dialogues would seek to facilitate the ease of doing business, to crowd in private, domestic and foreign investments. To reach an FDI target of $3 billion over the medium term, government implemented a medium-term revenue strategy. The Ministry of Finance has inaugurated a steering committee to oversee the strategy. George Winfield is Director of Revenue Policy Division at the Ministry of Finance.
This would be the first of its kind. Our focus is to make sure that all relevant stakeholders are brought on board so that it's a whole of government approach towards ensuring that the interests of all stakeholders are taken into consideration before the implementation. I mean, we are supposed to complete the development of this document by end of September. Already we have begun engaging some stakeholders. We have sent letters to some stakeholders for their inputs and so on, and we continue engaging. And so the only thing I will say is that it's a great opportunity for the general public to continue engaging with us, seize the opportunity to make their inputs so that at the end of the development of the document, all their interests would have been brought on board.
Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Kojo Esim Abrampa, is optimistic the medium-term revenue strategy steering committee will increase revenue mobilization and ease the pressure of the Ministry of Finance.
And that's it for Business. Sports is up next. You stay tuned.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. And our Ghanaian singer based in the United Kingdom, Stephanie Benson, has received a Humanitarian Platinum Leadership Award from the United Nations. The award was presented to her at an event held at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The ceremony, which took place at the delegates' dining room at the United Nations, provided a platform for nominees to have insights with other like-minded individuals who were passionate about creating positive change in the world. One of the citations read, quote, "This award is bestowed upon individuals who have demonstrated exceptional leadership skills and made significant contributions to building a better world, particularly in the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals." In all, Stephanie Benson received 4 honors on the night, which included an appointment as a Global Peace Ambassador representing the Institute of Public Policy and Diplomacy Research. On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Becky. Over to you, Grace.
All right, grateful to you, Becky. And that's it for the bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. From us here, we say gracias, good afternoon.
Gracias?
Yeah,